Section 1 of the IELTS listening test. This is a form completion question. We'll hear two people in conversation discussing a form that they need to complete. Always read the instructions. They're printed in bold capital letters because they're important. Read everything so you understand the context. Predict the kind of information that you'll be listening for. For example, we can see that question 2 will be a time. Be careful of distractors. They might say something like, the run used to be 6 kilometers, but now it's 7. The answer would be 7, not 6. For question 7, they're going to spell out Pete's family name. They nearly always spell names because they're not common words. Get ready to listen out for English letters of the alphabet. Okay, great. We've read the questions carefully and we've thought about the type of information that we're listening for. We're ready. Let's now listen to the audio and begin to answer the questions 1 to 6. Try and answer them while the audio is playing. Feel free to take extra time if you need to. Let's listen.
Good morning, Dave Smith speaking.
Hi, could I speak to the organizer of the Camberwell Park Run?
Yes, that's me.
Great. I was talking to some friends of mine about the run, and they suggested I contact you to get some more details.
Sure. What would you like to know?
Well, they said it takes place every Saturday. Is that right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, that's great.
Do you know where the park is?
Oh yes, I've been there before, but it's quite big and I'm not sure where to go.
Well, there's a circular track that goes right around the park. The run starts in the cafe, goes past the tennis courts, then twice around the lake and finishes back where it started.
Okay, and what time is the run?
Well, the actual run begins at 9 a.m., but the runners start arriving at about 8:45.
Okay, so I need to get up early Saturday morning then. And how long is the run?
Well, it used to be 3 kilometres, but most people wanted to do a bit more than that, so we lengthened it to 5 kilometres. We now go round the lake twice, and that adds an extra 2 kilometres.
Right. Not sure I'd ever run that far, so I'd better start doing a bit of training.
It's a good idea, but it's not a race. It's really just for fun, and the best thing would be to take it easy for the first few times you do it, and then see if you can gradually improve your time.
Is the run timed then? How do I know how well I've done?
When you cross the finish line, you'll be given a barcode, and you can take this to one of the run volunteers who will scan it. Then you can get your time online when you go home.
Oh, I see. You collect all the results.
Exactly.
I see. That's great. So, how do I register?
Well, there are several ways. I could take your details over the phone, but it's much easier if you do it using the website.
Okay, good. I think that's probably all I need to know for now. Oh yes, does it cost anything to register, or do you collect money each week?
Well, it doesn't cost anything to register, but we do charge for the run. In fact, we have just increased the charge to $5. It used to be $2, but because we were making a bit of a loss, we had to increase it.
Okay, thanks. I think I have enough information on taking part in the run.
Okay, how are you going? Let us know in the comments. Let's now try to answer questions 7 to 10. Listen closely.
You mentioned volunteers. I have a friend who is interested in helping out. Can you give me some details so I can pass them on to her?
Sure. Well, you need to ask your friend to contact Pete Morn. He manages all the volunteers.
Okay, I didn't quite catch his surname. Was it Morn? M-O-R-N?
No, just a bit more complicated. It's M-A-U-G-H-A-N.
Right. Thanks. And could you give me his phone number?
Yes, just a moment. It's here somewhere. Let me find it. I've got 2 numbers for him. I think the one that begins 01273 is an old one, so use this one. Call 014-447-3290.
Okay, got that. Can you tell me anything about the volunteering? Like what kind of activities it involves?
Sure. Well, we need volunteers for basic stuff like setting up the course. We have to do that before all the runners arrive.
Okay, so that's a really early start.
Yes, that's right. But if your friend would prefer to She can also help with guiding the runners so they don't go the wrong way.
I see. I believe you do a report on some of the races.
Yes, that's right. In fact, we do a weekly report on each race and we always try to illustrate it.
Okay, well, my friend really likes taking photographs. She's just bought a new camera.
Actually, that would be great. I don't know whether Pete has anyone to take photographs this week.
Oh, I'll let her know.
Okay, good. Could you ask your friend to phone Pete and let him know?
Yes, I will.
Okay, thanks. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, how did you go? Let's have a look at the correct answers. Here they are. Number 1 is cafe. For number 2, you can write the time as 9 a.m. or 9 o'clock, and you can write 9 as a number or a word. With number 3, kilometers can be spelled the American or the British way. They're both correct. Or you can simply write km. For number 4 and 5, barcode and website can be one word or two words. Both are okay. The answer to question 6 is 5. For the family name in number 7, make sure that you use a capital letter at the start. Notice how with some questions, such as number 10, there is more than one correct answer. Remember, you can download the answer sheet for free and work along with the video by clicking the link in the description below. Also included are extra listening practice questions. Okay, so that's exactly what section 1 is like on testing. Of course, the recording and questions are different in every test, but the type of questions is the same. Make sure to listen carefully for the information that's missing from the form and fill in the gaps. With practice and careful focused listening, you can do really well in section 1. Let's move on to section 2. In this part, you usually hear a single speaker giving instructions. Today we'll be practicing multiple choice questions and matching questions. We'll start by looking at multiple choice questions. The approach here is fairly simple. In part 2 of the test, the multiple choice questions are mostly going to be about details. The main thing to do here is to read the questions and note any key words that will help you focus. For number 11, I want to know where the idea came from. For 12, I need to find the unusual detail. For 13, what are they worried about? And 14, what decision has not been made? You should read the answers quickly and listen carefully to catch any synonyms that might reveal the answer. Now have a look at the other question type, matching. For questions 15 to 20, the main thing to understand is that the questions will come in the same order as the numbers, so for each question, listen, note which feature they talk about, and then select the appropriate letter. Let's now listen to the audio and begin to answer the questions 11 to 14, the multiple choice questions. Try and answer them while the audio is playing. Once again, feel free to take extra time if you need to. Let's listen.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to say a little about 2 exciting new developments in the city: the Brackenside open-air swimming pool and the Children's Adventure Playground in Central Park. As many of you may know, the idea for these initiatives came from you, the public, in the extensive consultation exercise which the City Council conducted last year, and they've been realized using money from the SWRDC, the Southwest Regional Development Commission. First of all, Brackenside Pool. As many of the older members of the audience will remember, there used to be a wonderful open-air pool on the seafront 30 years ago, but it had to close when it was judged to be unsafe. For the design of this new heated pool, we were very happy to secure the talents of internationally renowned architect Ellen Wendon, who has managed to combine a charming 1930s design, which fits in so well with many of the other buildings in the area, with up-to-the-minute features, such as a recycling system, the only one of its kind in the world, which enables seawater to be used in the pool. Now, there's been quite a bit of discussion in the local press about whether there would be enough room for the number of visitors we're hoping to attract. But the design is deceptive, and there have been rigorous checks about capacity. Also, just in case you were wondering, we're on schedule for a June 15th opening date, and well within budget. a testimony to the excellent work of local contractors Hickman's. We hope that as many people as possible will be there on June 15th. We have engaged award-winning actress Coral White to declare the pool open, and there will be drinks and snacks available at the poolside. There will also be a competition for the public to decide on the sculpture we plan to have at the entrance. You will decide which famous historical figure from the city we should have.
Great. Now let's try to answer questions 15 to 20, the matching questions. Listen closely.
And now, moving on to the Central Park Playground, which we're pleased to announce has just won the Douglas Award for Safety. The news came through only last week. The unique design is based on the concept of the global village, with the playground being divided into 6 areas showing different parts of the world, each with a representative feature. For example, there's a section on Asia, and this is represented by rides and equipment in the shape of snakes, orangutans, tigers, and so on, fauna native to the forests of the region. Moving south to the Antarctic, we couldn't run to an ice rink, I'm afraid, but opted instead for climbing blocks in the shape of mountains. I thought they could have had slides for the glaciers, but the designers did want to avoid being too literal. Then on to South America, and here the theme is El Dorado, games replicating the search for mines full of precious stones. And then moving up to North America. Here there was considerable debate. I know the contribution of cinema and jazz was considered, but the designers finally opted.
In this section, you'll usually hear 3 people talking